Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. I'm going to cut the intro a bit short because I can't be holding this phone up this long. Ribs are still sore. Obviously, sorry about the delay on this. I had an issue and I cracked 3 ribs, so I've been waiting for them to heal, but they're feeling a lot better now. And obviously we've got all the paint on the case. This is first time I've done a video, the intro after I've done, anyways. Right, the case is done. There's quite a bit of footage to go in this video, so to cut it short, I'm going to cut the intro quite short. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy the video. It's a bit of a banger. We've got a banger for you guys. Timmy. Right, yeah, hopefully you like the video, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the notification button, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye. Hey guys, how's it going? We're in the kitchen now. I thought I'd just show you the setup so you can see how I've changed it up. This is like literally the whole sink. I've tried to cover up as much as I can to sort of alleviate overspray. I'm doing it in the kitchen because it means that I can shut the door behind me and I can open this window and turn that vent on, so hopefully we'll get a bit of a circulation of air in here, and it can and I can alleviate the overspray to just at least just this room. Obviously the main overspray is gone. This is the exciting bit because this is going to be the first time it's going to be all the same colour. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and give this thing semi-wet coats of this stuff. As you can see on the lid, it says for best results, use adhesion promoter with me. I used my own adhesion promoter. It's called sandpaper. Right, anyway, we're going to time-lapse this painting anyway. We're going to get a coat on everything, flip all this over, I'm going to turn that round, get a coat on everything. We've got all the parts, everything's cut down and ready to go. Like, we're lined up. You can see we've got the power supply surround, we've got the top, we've got the front, we've got the hard drive bays, we've got the front panel for beauty panel there. We've got all the water cooling parts and all the PCIe slots are all ready for a coat, and obviously the case. So we should we just get on with it? Should we just get on with it? Yeah? Okay. Right guys, we are back. Hiya. Sorry I've had to reclaim some of my kitchen because I've had my kids round. Anyways, I've done some of the rubbing down. We're going to do the tops now, but I'm going to sort of explain to you what's going on. So basically what we're doing is on some of the case, this case is going 4 colours and 2 finishes. So on some of this case we want quite a nice finish. So we are going to I've only got the top left to do now, so I'm going to take you on that journey with me. But basically, we're just rubbing it down with some 1200. I'll explain why, and I'll show you now. So you might think, oh, that looks pretty flat. You know, it's grey. If you look at it, you know, got a half decent coverage, should be alright for the paint that goes on top. Basically the primer acts as like something for it to chemically bond to. So when paint dries, there's a chemical reaction, it basically melts itself to the layers underneath. So if you make a mistake and you get a run, wait for it to finish and then sand it off. Do not try and wipe it, because you'll just, especially car paint, you will just smear the whole, all of the layers, and you'll have to go all the way back and start again. So this is just obviously just primed. It's just got a coat of primer on it. I'm going to try and show you what 1200 does, because I've got a piece that I've used and hopefully I can show you. So that's it, primed. We're going to get to that piece in a minute, but this is a piece that I've already done with the 1200. You can see quite clearly. As you can see, it's got quite a reflective surface. Now this case is going to be my case, so I don't need it to be perfect. If I was going to do it for someone else, maybe we'll see how this turns out, if I can get away with this sort of level. But this isn't going to be like the finish for the top paint. We've got some work to do with that as well before I put lacquer on, and obviously the whole thing can be lacquered. But you can see why I use the 1200. That's what just. And when I say sanding it down, we're basically going to be stroking the surface. You don't want to use much in the way of pressure, because you get like scratches and stuff. But as you can see, it's definitely a big change. We've got a nice reflective surface there for the paint to bond onto, and it will basically take on the characteristic of the layer underneath. I know it says it has a chemical reaction and it melts in, but basically the paint will just take on the characteristic of whatever you've put it on. So this should add a little sheen to it. So I'm going to get a nice thick coat of paint hopefully, and that should sort it all out. But yeah, this is what 1200, just a gentle stroking of 1200 grit does to a bit of primer, because obviously the primer gives you like a medium to work with. But yeah, so shall we get on to sanding the top of this thing, and I'll talk you through it. Right guys, sorry I had to wait a little bit so that the dishwasher stopped. I'm sorry about the noise from the last clip. From before, it's finished now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this 1200 and we're just going to, it's basically stroking the surface. You don't want to really put much pressure on it. The shape's already there. I just want to get a finish on it so it's nice and shiny. What you want to do, you don't want to go at this dry. So what you want to do is you want to wet the surface. But what the water will do is it'll give the sand, like, basically just let it hover above the surface, and it'll mean that basically we're just knocking off those rough parts of the paint, which will give a nice smooth finish, hopefully, like we showed before. Get a nice sort of smooth shiny finish. Like I said, I don't put any real pressure on this. There's plenty of water. I don't want to go through too much of the paint that's already there, you know. The whole point of this is to just get a sort of finish to it. What I usually do is I'll usually do this. I'll go around the whole thing with a bit of wet. I usually go, I'll do this bit separate. I usually go around the whole bit that I need to sand. And like, I'm not putting any pressure on this at all. I'm just literally letting the sandpaper do its job. Let the water carry the sandpaper across the surface. Clean the sandpaper off every so often, because obviously it's going to build up some of that paint that it's taken off the surface. You don't want that in the sandpaper, otherwise it'll stop you working. So these little movements with no pressure, just going to knock the surface off that paint. And hopefully get us down to something fairly smooth and flat and shiny, so that when we paint over the top of it, because obviously after we've done this we'll be masking it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably mask the top ready for one of the colours, and then completely mask it off when I come to do the satin black around the bottom, because that's the first colour going on. But we're just concentrating on this, literally this bit here, and then we'll do the top of this lid, we'll do the top of this lid and then it'll be sort of inserted. We're pretty much ready. This is starting to look kind of nice. And like I said, I'm not putting any real effort or any real like pressure into this sandpaper as I'm doing this. And again, like I said, this is my case. It is a case for me. There are some imperfections that I'm happy to take on this build. So don't expect this to be a perfect build. But the whole point of this case is so that I have it fitted with a level of water cooling that I can maybe switch up, improve over time by just taking stuff out and replacing them. And also it's so that I'll be able to change both platforms whenever I want. In this case, even though it's going to be fitted with water cooling, I should be able to just change out both platforms whenever I feel like it. Not that I'll probably need to for a while, but I can. That's the whole point. Like I said, this is all about just right, let me get a cloth so I can have a look, see how that's looking. That's kind of nice. Maybe a bit more back here, but this front's lovely. Don't know whether you'll be able to see that, but can you see the reflection on it there? So we should get a nice finish on it. At least something for me to work with. I think that'll do it. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Got a nice sheen on there. I know it's a bit wet, but you get the idea. So, we need to get to masking this bad boy, don't we? Right guys, as you can see, we are prepped for the first colour. Obviously again, this is going to be the first finish. We're going to get this satin black on. And then once it's all done, I'm going to have to let it go off and then change the masking up. Yeah, I would normally traditionally use paper, but I've got so many spare carrier bags and stuff. I figured as long as it's not on there too long and I don't oversaturate so that it runs down the back of holes and stuff, we should be alright, obviously everything here needs a coat of this satin black as well, so hopefully we've got enough paint. So we're going to try and concentrate on the bits that are really important first, and then obviously the bits like underneath the case and stuff, we'll do that if there's paint left. Right, anyway, we'll time lapse it, so shall we get into it? Okay guys, the satin's gone on. We were a little shy, but had everything that needed to be covered. Seems to have a good decent cover on it, so I'm happy with that. I've demasked and remasked for the next colour, so we're going to get on with that one. So the next colour is just this sort of like main bit here, this panel here, and this side of the PCIe slots. So we're going to get that coloured, painted. This particular colour is a two-part paint, so it takes a little bit more effort. So we're going to throw a good base on, get it all covered with base, and then just sort of layer some depth into it, hopefully, and then we'll move on to the third penultimate paint colour, and then we've got one more colour, and then I've got to rub down for some lacquer, and then we'll be done. But yeah, should we get on with getting this paint on? Okay guys, we've let the orange dry, and now we're just prepped for colour number 3, which we're going to sort out, and then one more colour, and then it's lacquer to finish. So should we get this colour on? Okay guys, I've done the prepped and ready for the 4th colour now, and hopefully I've got enough in the can to cover everything, but let's get on with it, shall we? Right guys, here we are. It's time for the final coat. I've given everything a bit of a quick rub down with a bit of 2000 grit. We've dropped down again just to sort of like alleviate some of the edges from the pattern and that. But we are ready now, and it's the final coat. I've got 1 can of lacquer. We'll see how far it gets, and let's get this lacquer on. And once I've lacquered up and stuff, and it's dried and that, we can pull off all this tape and we can see what it looks like. Finally we'll get to see the whole thing. Right guys, here we are. I've let all the lacquer go off. You can see everything's got a nice shine to it. This piece, I'll rub it down for a show, but I've got these, bit of shine on them. Just a bit of protection as well for the paint. And obviously all the bits that we're supposed to get a shine have got a shine on them. But so yeah, we're gonna get all this masking off now. Hopefully it doesn't pull any of the paint off. I'm worried because of how long it's been on there. So let's get this off, and I'll wrap it up and on to the next video, which is fitting this thing with water cooling. But let's finally get to see what this whole thing looks like in one piece. I get to see it with you. So shall we get the masking off this or what? obviously we've seen all these, and we're going to put it together. You'll see it together afterwards, because I'm going to have to leave it a week or so that I can let this lacquer properly go off, and then I can give it a finished sand and a buff and a coat with some protection, and then I will build it together. So it'll be together in the water cooling. You'll get to see it all completely built together in the next video, I promise you. But yeah, we're almost built in it though, guys. Like, we're going to fit it with water cooling in the next build, and in the next video, and then the following one will literally be putting the system together, the twin system in here. So stay tuned, and should we get this unwrapped? Yeah. Right guys, here we go. I've demasked everything. There was a few spots where we were showing some grey through and like some rough bits, and maybe I can touch them. Some of it's going to be just like dust, like that's okay. But we've got some sort of like orange overspray and stuff in here. If I can't clean it out, I'll probably be okay with it down there, to be honest. Most of this is going to be like fans and radiators anyway, so the bottom corners don't really bother me too much. But like, you know, she's looking pretty sweet. The seam looks pretty smooth, like, we all good. I've got some grommets and stuff, which you'll see obviously in the next video. I'll have this all put together. I need to remember where all the hardware is and stuff, but obviously we've got this now, which is smooth to the touch now, which is nice. I put the lid on so you get a bit of an idea of what's going on here. This orange here, it's a bit garish at the moment, but remember we're going to have this beauty panel sat in front of it, so you're only going to see that through it, which is going to be nice. Yeah, I've painted the tips of these black as well, so that when it's pressed up against here, it's not so blatant. They would just show in through quite clearly. I kind of like the pinstriping. I've gone satin black in here to match the radiators that we're fitting from the water cooling. Yeah, I mean, not everyone's gonna like my choice of colours, but remember guys, this is my case for my build. I've chosen the colours myself through my choices. We just give this thing a spin so you can have a look at the other side. And obviously we're rolling around into the other side. This should be exciting because I've not actually like test fitted any of this stuff, so I have no idea if everything lines up. I have no idea whether things are going to fit in with each other, but we're going to find out together. And yeah, obviously we've got the back there as well, which is we've got a coat of gloss on it. It's not as, I've not concentrated too much on it being super shiny like the rest of it, but it has got a coat of lacquer on there to give it a protection and sort of key it in with the top. But we sort of kind of concentrated on where we're going to really need to shine. And then yeah, all the parts are there. Got the power supply cover. So obviously that goes into there so that we can put the power supply on and then just sort of like slide it in. Hold on, there you go, straight in. Straight in there. Sorry, I hit a button. So yeah, and then we've got some fittings for the water cooling. These were brass, but I thought they'd look nice with a bit green on them. I'm going to demask them soon. I'm just going to sort of like leave them to just go off as well as they can do. Obviously we've got the front panel here which is going to sit on top of that, so you get an idea. And then these BCAE covers, front covers that look kind of cool, a little bit overspray off the black from the other side, but and I'll be able to just buff these up. I ran out of lacquer. That's the only thing that didn't get lacquered, the back of them, but they have been painted, so I'll give them a bit of a buff up, and hopefully it won't look too bad. Because this isn't super shiny on the back here, hopefully with a nice buff up these, I can get these sort of looking okay. But yeah, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. This is how far I've got. Tune into the next video where we fit water cooling into this thing and you'll get to see it in its entirety. I do have like a little mini video on some paint stripper that I need to do with one of the windows, but that'll probably be in a couple of days, and then literally the water cooling will be following that. So yeah, watch out. And then after the water cooling, then we get to put the system in, guys. Then we get to put the system in. I finally get to building this thing, and yeah, it's going to be the case for the rest of my life, really. So I'm not into naming shit, like, but if anyone's got any suggestions, let's go. Anyways, guys, I will see you in the next one. Love you, bye.